You're 62, have $1.5 million saved up. Can you retire? It's going to all come down to 3 questions. I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Got a real life planning scenario for you. I'm 62. I'm single. I've got $1.5 million saved up in my retirement account and in cash. And I'm wondering, can I retire? Can I retire? It's a real life planning scenario that we're working through right now. And ultimately, guys, it's gonna come down to 3 questions. But before that, it really is going to come down to your 5-factor retirement plan. Okay, that 5-factor retirement plan. Everyone's ability to transition from their working years into retirement depends on 5 interrelated factors or decisions or choices. They don't feel like choices. It just feels like, well, this is, my circumstance. Well, your circumstances, at least in this regard, is a product of lots of choices that you've made and choices that you can still consciously make. And I say interrelated, interdependent, because you can't make a choice in one area and not have it impact the other areas, okay? So those 5 factors are: what age do you want to be done? And we're getting this in the example, age 62. How much do you want to spend, or what's your lifestyle? And that includes health insurance, that includes taxes, that includes one-time expenses like big vacations or whatnot, and includes an assumption about inflation as well. Third is, what are your income sources in retirement? So will you work part-time? Do you have a pension? What's your plan with Social Security? Fourth is, how much do you have saved up? And we've got that variable here, 1.5 million. And then last is, how much risk are you comfortable taking? There's a relationship between risk and reward, or risk and return. So if you say, at the time I retire, I can't stomach any volatility in the investing world, then that'll be very low risk and therefore low potential growth on those dollars. So those are the 5 factors. We get a couple of them here in this scenario, but they're interrelated. You can't say, well, I want to retire at 50 and I want to spend a lot of money and I don't have any income sources and I never saved anything and I don't want to take any risk. Well, I mean, those are extremes, but that shows you how it's interrelated. So that 5-factor retirement plan, that is part of the comprehensive financial planning process that you should be doing with your CFP. And these 3 pivotal questions that I'm about to go through that really influence and determine whether you're able to retire, whether in this scenario you're able to retire, those are all addressed. They're all addressed within that 5-factor retirement plan. And not only that, but those questions are addressed, and then any other kind of creative planning strategies are addressed as well. And then there's a stress test that's done with various trials to determine, well, if the investing world performs really well or it performs really poorly, do you have the confidence that you're on the right track and that this plan will work? Because ultimately, to make this biggest financial decision of your life, when you're going to retire, you want to do so with great clarity and great confidence that you're on track. So it really starts and ends with that 5-factor retirement plan, working with your CFP. Through that process, though, you're going to answer 3 pivotal questions, and that's going to determine whether you're able to retire or not. So age 62, 1.5 million saved up. Am I able to retire? First question is, how much are you spending? What's your overall lifestyle? Okay, because in that scenario, you might be doing the math, and I'll share the math with you here in just a second, and say, oh yeah, you should be fine. Well, if you need 10 grand a month to live, then actually, gosh, that's likely going to lead to a very low confidence rate. And I would suggest, no, even though it seems like you've got good resources and a pretty good situation, if you need to spend 10 grand a month, no value judgments, I don't care. That's your choice. It's your lifestyle. That doesn't work. If you say, no, actually spend about 3 grand a month, 4 grand a month, live pretty simple, live pretty frugal, then yeah, that's obviously going to paint a very different picture. And so how much are you spending? So when we look at that, if you've got a fully laid out budget, oh my goodness, that's going to give you the most clarity and confidence, and you're going to be able to work with your CFP and feel very good about the analysis, okay, and about what the output says. So that'd be what we would recommend for sure. Many people at that stage of life, you're 62, you probably haven't operated on a budget in a long time, and to retire, you want financial freedom, and it might feel like, well, I don't want to have this strict budget, and therefore a different way of approaching it is, well, how much income do you have coming in right now? What's your take-home income right now on a given month? And is that the amount that you're spending, or are you dipping into savings, or out of that are you saving? So basically, what's your current take-home, and then add in things that need to be added on top of that, or remove things that you're able to take away. So here's an example, okay, that came out a little confusing. If your take-home right now is $5,000, okay, well, and that's all that you're living on, all of that, okay. So take home is $5,000. Above that, above and beyond that, you also have to pay for taxes. Taxes are coming right out of your paycheck before you get to your $5,000. So it's $5,000 a month plus taxes, and then plus you've got to figure out, paying for health insurance. Your health insurance is being covered before that $5,000 as well. So if you say, yep, I'm got $5,000 take home right now, you've then got to add on those couple other pieces that will be there. If your take home right now is $5,000, but $1,000 of that is going towards paying debt, that debt's going to be paid off here very shortly, then you could actually look and say, well, I don't need $5,000. My starting point would be $4,000 because I've got an expense right now that I won't have in retirement, something like that. That's question number one, is what are you spending? What's your lifestyle in retirement? That's going to influence whether you're able to retire, again, in this scenario, at 62 with 1.5 saved up or not. So how much are you spending? What's your lifestyle? Second big question that's going to influence this, and I already sort of alluded to it, and that is, what's your plan with health insurance? What's your plan with health insurance? And so at 62, yes, you could start Social Security at that age, but Medicare doesn't start until age 65. And if I've got group health insurance through my employer, and therefore I'll just continue using that. Well, COBRA, that continuation of your group coverage, will only last for 18 months, and it's pretty expensive. So you've got a health insurance gap of 3 years before you're eligible for Medicare, and only half of that time you'd be eligible for COBRA, and likely it's going to be very expensive. So what's your plan? Is it COBRA for a little bit of time? Should you consider buying health insurance through healthcare.gov? You can do so through healthcare.gov and receive some tax benefits. It's called a premium tax credit, which ultimately lowers the amount that you pay for that health insurance every single month. It's ultimately tax credits you receive in advance, but you only receive those tax credits if your income's below a certain threshold. So there you've got to look at, well, how much income, again, what are you spending, and where's that income going to come from, and then what does that mean for your health insurance choices? So when we say, and I say every single video, that you've got to look at your comprehensive financial plan, all 6 areas of your financial life. I mean, this question right here, you've got to look at cash flow, you've got to look at your retirement plan, you've got to look at your protection plan, you've got to look at your tax picture, and all of that infused together to see, well, what are your health insurance options, and where can you find good coverage at an affordable cost? Your CFP should be able to help you with that, working and collaborating with a health insurance expert to answer that second question. But what's your plan with health insurance? That's going to influence whether you can and should be done at 62 or wait a little bit longer. And then the final question, I alluded to this one as well, what's your strategy with Social Security? Are you planning on, or do you need Social Security to start right away as soon as you retire? Or are you comfortable with with delaying Social Security if the math suggests that is appropriate for your overall financial situation? The reason why I ask is drawing Social Security right at 62, yes, you're absolutely allowed to do that. However, you're drawing a reduced amount. And that reduced amount, that is then permanent. You then get a cost of living adjustment each year, depending on how that math works, but you're starting at a very low number, okay? Every year that you delay Social Security, there's about an 8% increase on your Social Security, and over time, say a difference between age, drawing at age 62 or age 65 can be, several $100s every single month. And when you look at your overall life expectancy, several $100,000 of difference in your overall financial plan. So the question then is, based on your, the 1.5 that you have saved up and your spending habits and what your plan is for health insurance, are you needing to turn on Social Security right away? And then how does that influence your confidence rate for retirement by locking in a low number on your Social Security? Or is there a strategy, depending on, again, how that 1.5 that you have saved up, how it's structured, is there a strategy where you could delay Social Security a couple years, allow it to grow to a larger amount, spend down some of your assets, and then set up a situation where Social Security plus a little bit of interest off your investments covers all the cash flow that you need? Again, going back to question number 1, how much you're spending. So, scenario, real life planning scenario, I'm 62. I'm single, 1.5 million saved up. Can I retire? You've got to answer those 3 questions, okay? What's your lifestyle? What's your plan with health insurance, and how are you going to optimize Social Security? All of that, those are the 3 pivotal questions, but it's embedded within that 5-factor retirement plan. So that's really what you need to be able to answer that question. To me, depending on your lifestyle, that's going to influence your health insurance, and that's going to influence what your options are, or what the best option is with Social Security. Depending on that first question, really could be in a great situation there, but you need that 5-factor retirement plan. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go on and take your next wise step in your financial life.